awesome. I'm glad I could be there. All right. Thank you all so much, my friends. Members, I'll see you soon. Everyone else, I'll see you next week. Until then, ad astra.
There are many things that they do, like icebreakers. They want us to provide icebreakers for them. Oh, that's wonderful. So, the Canada, they're very tough traders. I want to just tell you, all the people, they're tough traders. They trade very tough. And, the expression I use is, some people don't have the cards. I used that expression about a week and a half ago, right? Somebody was negotiating who didn't have the cards, who's now, I think, saying that he wants to do it, and I think we're going to have a big deal on that.
I don't think I've heard you say this in all of the talk about Canada becoming the 51st state. Are you concerned that if they became the 51st state, they would be a very, very...
You add that to this country, what a beautiful landmass, the most beautiful landmass anywhere in the world, and it was just cut off for whatever reason. It would be great. Now, is it liberal? Maybe, but a conservative until I got involved, I don't care who wins up there. Frankly, probably would do better with the liberal than the conservative if you want to know the truth. But just a little while ago, before I got involved and totally changed the election, which I don't care about, probably it's to our advantage actually, but the conservative was leading against, I call him Governor Trudeau, the conservative was leading by 35 points. So I don't know about that. I think Canada is a place like a lot of other places. If you have a good candidate, the candidate's going to win.
And I don't know if you've seen this, but the two astronauts that you just helped save from space, they didn't get any overtime pay for all that extra time. They got $5 a day per diem. For 286 days, that is $1,430 in extra pay. Is there anything the administration can do to get them, to make them whole?
Well, nobody's ever mentioned this to me. If I have to, I'll pay that in my own pocket. The body starts to deteriorate after 9 or 10 months, and gets really bad after 14, 15 months with the bones and the blood and all the things that you've been reporting on very well. And if we don't have Elon, they could be up there a long time. Who else is going to get him? And I just want to thank him. He's going through a lot, what they're doing to him. And these people are going to be caught, and they're going to be caught, and they're going to be prosecuted. And from what they tell me, I see this just by watching your programs and reading the news, but from what they tell me, they could get 20 years in jail, and they'll get it. I'll tell you, there's going to be no leniency, and there'll be no pardons. I can tell you that right.
And you said this morning 20 years in jail, and then maybe you said this morning 20 years in jail, and then maybe they'll go to one of these prisons in El Salvador. Do you think with the way that the judges have been issuing injunctions, it would be easier or harder to send these Tesla domestic terrorists to a jail in El Salvador than these MS-13 or Trinidad guys?
Well, I view these people as terrorists just like others. When I looked at those showrooms burning, and those cars, not one or two, like 7, 8, 10 burning, exploding all over the place. These are terrorists. You didn't have that on January 6th, I can tell you. You didn't have anything like that on January 6th, which is sort of amazing because on January 6th, the Democrats were talking. Nobody was killed other than a very beautiful young woman, Ashley Barrett. Nobody was killed. And you look at what's going on now with these terrorists. These are terrorists, and that's an organized event. Take a look at their signs. Take a look. They're all made by the same sign company. A nice, expensive job. These are the people that finance it are, in my opinion, are just as big a trouble as the people that are setting the match and setting the fires. So we'll see. It's under very serious investigation by the FBI and by the Justice Department. These people are terrorists.
Okay. Mr. President, you mentioned a deal with Ukraine.
Mr. President, what do you say to American military families who are seeing Elon Musk at the Pentagon today, are hearing about Defense Department cuts, and their thoughts are immediately going to the safety of their loved ones who are currently deployed?
Well, we're making our country strong. And when they see a thing like that, and they hear that story about Elon and China, what they should do is realize that the New York Times is a corrupt institution, because I think they're the ones. They knew that story wasn't true. Nobody believed that story. People that, when I first called them, they laughed at that. Nobody believed it, that the Pentagon was giving what war with China would look like, and he has businesses. No, they made that up because it's a good story to make up. They're very dishonest people. And I have it with the Times, and you'll see more and more of it. To me, it's a very dishonest organization. But a story like that is made up of a total picture. And I just wanted to make sure. I called up Chief of Staff and I called up Pete. And I said, is there any truth to that? Absolutely not. He's there for Doge, not there for China. And if you ever mention China, if he could walk out of the room, he wouldn't take it in. So it's just a made-up story. Nobody's taking better care of the military. One of the things that I know the Pete's doing is he's talking about a lot of the civilian staff, and we're going to get them other jobs. You know, we're going to have a lot of jobs in this country, but we don't want to have wasteful jobs. We want to have meaningful jobs. And those are wasteful jobs. Those are jobs that not only military, jobs where people don't show up. You take a look at the Department of Education. I've never seen so many buildings with their names on it. You go past one after another Department of Education, and they're empty. The people don't show up. You know why? Because they have other jobs. Because they're playing golf, or they're playing something, they're doing something. And we have a lot of great people, but we have to move back after the States. We're going to make our country strong, and we're going to give people much into a country the likes of which we've never seen before. Nothing like this is happening. And it's automatic. They don't want to pay the tariffs. How do you avoid paying the tariffs? You build your plants in the United States, and it's a beautiful thing to see. I see it. So far, it's $4 trillion. Nobody's ever heard of them. No country's ever heard of numbers like that. $4 trillion, and those are the best ones. The biggest, best chip maker in the world. I'm not a fan of the CHIP Act, where you give billions of dollars away to companies that don't need it, and it won't bring them here. I'm giving nothing away. All they're doing is coming here. They're building because they want to avoid. Remember this on the tariffs, because that's going to be Liberation Day, April 2nd. It's reciprocal. If they charge us, we charge them. So somebody say, well, how much of the tariffs? Very clear. If India, as an example, can refer that to us on tariffs, they charge 100%, 200%, whatever they charge. Now, Europe just announced they're lowering the tariffs on cars. You know, we charge like a joke, 2.5%. That's what this country's doing. Europe just announced that they're reducing the tariffs on cars to 2.5%. But they also have non-monetary tariffs, where they make it impossible for the cars to get in, even without the dollars on them. It's called the non-monetary tariff, where they put on controls where no matter what happens, if they don't want cars, they don't want the American car in their market. And yet they send us millions of cars. They send us big agriculture. They don't want our agriculture. They don't want anything from us. European Union is very tough. But now it's there. So whatever they do to us, we do to them. Portfolio. We have a portfolio that's very large, lots of loans, tens of thousands of loans, pretty complicated deal. And that's coming out of the Department of Education immediately, and it's going to be headed up by Kelly Loeffler, SBA, and the role set for it. They're waiting for it. That will be serviced much better than it has in the past. It's been a mess. And also, Bobby Kennedy, the Health and Human Services, will be handling special needs and all of the nutrition programs and everything else. Rather complex, but that's going to be headed by and handled by Health and Human Services. So I think that will work out very well. Those two elements will be taken out of the Department of Education, and then all we have to do is get the students to get guidance from the people that love them and cherish them, including their parents, by the way, who will be totally involved in their education, along with the boards and the governors and the states. And it's going to be a great situation. I guarantee that in a few years from now, I'm going to be around to see it, but I think we're going to see a lot of it. I think that we're going to have tremendous results. We're going to have results like Norway, Sweden, Denmark, a lot of the the countries that do so well, I think you're going to have a lot of those results. If you look at Iowa and Indiana and Idaho, so many places that run so well. Florida, Texas, big ones. And you're going to have great education, much better than it is now at half the cost. And we're not even doing it as a cost item, although you will save probably half, maybe more than that. And you're not going to be at the bottom of the list, you're going to be much higher. And maybe you'll be, I will guarantee some of the states will be at the top of the list. They'll be comparable or better than these number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 countries, the countries that are in the top 5 positions. So that's, to me, it's very exciting, and it's been received very well. So I just wanted to tell you about the student loan and special needs. So we're here for a reason today that is very exciting, and I'm thrilled to announce that at my direction, the United States Air Force is moving forward with the world's first 6th-generation fighter jet. Number 6, 6th generation. Nothing in the world comes even close to it. And it'll be known as the F-47. The general took the title. And it's a beautiful number, F-47. It's something the likes of which nobody has seen before in terms of all of the attributes of a fighter jet. There's never been anything even close to it, from speed to maneuverability to what it can have to payload. And this has been in the works for a long period of time. After a rigorous and thorough competition between some of America's top aerospace companies, the Air Force is going to be awarding the contract for the next generation air dominance platform to Boeing. As you know, was highly competed for. There was a lot of competition, generals, and it's been going on for a long time. Very, very tough competition. This plane is ever built. An experimental version of the plane has secretly been flying for almost 5 years, and we're confident that it massively overpowers the capabilities of any other nation. There's no other nation. We know every other plane. I've seen every one of them. And it's not even close. This is the next level. You know, level 5 this is level 6. The F-47 is equipped with state-of-the-art stealth technologies, virtually unseeable, and unprecedented power, the most power of any jet of its kind ever made. Maneuverability, likewise, there's never been anything like it, despite the power and speed. Its speed is top. It's over 2, which is something that you don't hear very often. America's enemies will never see it coming. Hopefully we won't have to use it for that purpose, but you have to have it. And if it ever happens, they won't know what the hell hit them. A new fleet of these magnificent planes will be built during my administration in the next couple of years. It's ready to go. We've already built much of what has to be built in terms of production, including the sheds. We will ensure that the USA continues to dominate the sky. We've given an order for a lot. We can't tell you the price because it would give way to some of the technology and some of the size of the planes. We're not our allies, right? But I would like to ask Secretary Hegseth, who's doing a fantastic job. He's really been very inspiring in so many ways. And I must say that before he speaks, we have had record people wanting to join our military in the last 2.5 months, literally since this, I think probably since the election, November 5th, but especially since we came to office and since I announced Pete. He's young, he's smart, he's strong, he loves it, and they love him, but we've had record numbers of people wanting to join our military. Now, if you go back 6 months, it was the exact opposite. You had record numbers of people not wanting to join the military. Now you have record numbers of people wanting to be in our military, and that's a great idea. That shows you we're really on the right track. So, maybe say a few words.
Sure. Well, Mr. President, this is a big day. This is a big day for our warfighters. This is a big day for our country, a big day in the world. The name of this program is the Next Generation of Air Dominance. And Mr. President, because of your leadership, your clarity, America is going to have a generations in the future of air dominance because of this sixth generation fighter. We've had the F-15, we had the F-16, the F-18, the F-22, the F-35. Now we have the F-27. We send a very direct, clear message to our allies that we're not going anywhere, and to our enemies that we will be able to project power around the globe unimpeded for generations to come. Mr. President, this is a gift to my kids and your kids, to my grandkids and your grandkids. This is a historic investment in the American military, in the American industrial base, in American industry that will help revive the warrior ethos inside our military, which we're doing, rebuild our military, which the previous administration did not do, by the way, Mr. President. They paused this program, and we're prepared to potentially scrap it. We know this is cheaper, longer range, and more stealthy. President Trump said we're reviving it, and we're doing it. And then we are also going to reestablish deterrence. Under the previous administration, we looked like winners, not enough. President Trump has reestablished American leadership. The F-47 is part of it. And Mr. President, thank you for having the courage to do it and making the way for all of us.
Thank you very much. One of the things that I will say, but be generous with details in a speech, just a couple of seconds, but this plane flies with drones. It flies with many, many drones, many as you want, and it's a technology that's new, but it doesn't fly by itself. It flies with many drones, as many as we want, and that's something that no other plane can do. So I'd like to introduce my Air Force Chief of Staff, General David Alden, and also General Dale White, who